distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, honorable members of the United Committee. Good morning and welcome to the United Nations Summit 2025. It is both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as the Director of Information and Communication. We gather in this pivotal moment, united by our shared commitment to address the pressing challenge that our world faces. We are reminded to profound the intercoordinates of our global community, the rapid pace of change in our world, be it through technology advancement, climate change, and social justice issues that call for effective communication and collaboration. Today, we stand at the crossroads of opportunity and responsibility. Over the few next days, we will engage in meaningful dialogues that will shape our collective future. Each of your voices is vital to this discourse, and it is imperative to the information not to just inform, but to inspire. We must leverage our networks to amplify the cause of climate action, human rights, peace, and sustainable development. As we embark together on this journey, let us remember that effective communication is not more than dissemination of information. It is about fostering understanding, building trust, nurturing partnerships. It requires us to listen much as we speak. Today, we are here to share our success but our challenges, to learn from one another's experience. I urge each of you to actively participate in these sessions ahead, to contribute your insights for the four connections that will extend beyond this summit. Let us use this platform to illustrate the power of unity in diversity as we become the transformative change. Together, we can turn a dialogue into action, and our discussions can lay the groundwork for a brighter future. Thank you. Let us move forward with purpose and determination.
Fellow learners, educators, and honored guests, a good morning. I am Akech Mich Letitia, a pupil of Primary 5 at Our Lady of Africa Junior School, Bokassa. Quality education needed in the 21st century. As we stand here today, we are the future leaders, innovators, and change makers of the world. The quality of education we receive will shape our destinies and determine the course of humanity. In this 21st century, we need on Fellow learners, educators, and honored guests, a good morning. I am Akech Mich Letitia, a pupil of Primary 5 at Our Lady of Africa Junior School, Bokassa. Quality education needed in the 21st century. As we stand here today, we are the future leaders, innovators, and change makers of the world. The quality of education we receive will shape our destinies and determine the course of humanity. In this 21st century, we need an education that is relevant, exclusive, and empowering. We need an education that goes beyond more memorization and rote learning. We need an education that fosters critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills. We need an education that prepares us for the challenges of the modern world, from climate change to technological disruption. Quality education is not just a privilege, it's a right. Every student deserves access to quality education, regardless of their background, location, or socio-economic status. We need to bridge the gap between urban and rural areas. Without quality education, we can't unlock our full potential and achieve our dreams. We can't become leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs who can drive positive change in the world. We can build a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for all. But we also need to acknowledge that the education system is not perfect. There are challenges that need to be addressed, such as outdated curriculum, inadequate infrastructure, and lack of resources. We need to work together to create an education system is fit for the 21st century. Quality education is the key to unlocking our potential and shaping our future. We need to prioritize education and work together to ensure that every student has access to quality education. Let's strive for an education system that is exclusive, empowering, and relevant to the needs of the 21st century. Thank you very much for listening. I remain Akech Letitia, the incoming head girl, Our Lady of Africa Junior School, because for good and my country.
The theme of the Global Unification Summit 2025 program stands that leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for the present, future generations. Next on our program, let's invite Ariho Philippa, the head girl of this mighty institution.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, as we convene to discuss global security affairs, I would like to address the pressing concerns that threaten international peace and stability. The United Nations Security Council is committed to maintaining international peace and security, and we are deeply concerned about the proliferation of dangerous weapons, including nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. The possession and use of these weapons pose a significant threat to global security and stability, and it is our collective responsibility to prevent their use and spread. We are particularly concerned about the situation in regions where tensions are high and the risk of conflict is escalating. We call on all nations to exercise restraint and to pursue diplomatic solutions to their differences. The Security Council is also deeply concerned about the threat of terrorism, which affects countries in all regions of the world. We condemn all forms of terrorism and call on all nations to work together to prevent and combat this scourge. In addition, we are committed to addressing the root causes of conflict, including poverty, inequality, and lack of access to resources. We believe that sustainable development and peace are closely linked, and that addressing these underlying issues is critical to preventing conflict and promoting stability. The Security Council is working tirelessly to address these challenges through a range of measures including sanctions, peacekeeping operations, and diplomatic efforts. We call on all nations to support our efforts and to work together to build a safer and more secure world. In conclusion, the Security Council is committed to maintaining international peace and security, and we call on all nations to join us in this effort. Together, we can build a world where all nations can live in peace and security, free from the threat of violence and conflict. Thank you.
Next on our program, let's invite the President of Brazil.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed delegates and honored guests, as I stand before you today, I am profoundly reminded of the responsibility we share as custodians of our planet. We gather at a critical juncture in history, where the choices we make will resonate across generations. Today, I wish to speak on two intertwined concepts: sustainable development and human dignity, is both essential for thriving future. Brazil, a nation of breathtaking biodiversity, rich cultures, and vibrant communities, recognizes that our path to progress must be anchored in sustainability. Our Amazon rainforest, often referred to the lungs of the earth, stands as a testament to the natural wealth we must protect, not only for ourselves but for the global community. The preservation of this vital ecosystem is not merely an environmental imperative, it is a moral obligation. It is our duty to ensure that future generations inherit a world that is not only livable but flourishing. We must embrace a holistic approach to development that harmonizes economic growth with environmental stewardship and social inclusion. Sustainable development is not an abstract concept, it is a roadmap for human dignity. Every individual, regardless of their background or circumstance, deserves access to clean water, nutritious food, quality education, and health care. Dignity is not merely given, it is a right that must be defended. In Brazil, we are committed to fostering policies that prioritize human rights, environmental sustainability, and economic equity. We believe in empowering our most vulnerable populations, particularly women, children, and indigenous communities who are often at the forefront of the climate crisis, yet possess the wisdom and right to lead us towards a sustainable future. We cannot achieve our goals without listening to their voices and incorporating their perspectives into our policies. At this summit, we must reaffirm our collective commitment at the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and Sustainable Development Goals. Let us not forget that these goals are interconnected. Progress is one area, whether in combating poverty, ensuring gender equality, or reducing inequality, enhances progress in others. We must work hand in hand, collaboratively and inclusively to dismantle the systems that perpetuate poverty and environmental degradation. Moreover, we must recognize that the fight against climate change is a fight for human dignity. Those who contribute the least to this crisis often suffer its most destructive impacts. Therefore, we must stand together to ensure adequate support for adaptation and resilience building, particularly for the most affected nations and communities. Brazil is ready to share its experiences and collaborate on innovative solutions that bridge the gap between development and environmental sustainability. As we look to the future, let us be guided by a spirit of unity and shared purpose. The challenges we face are immense, but history teaches us that humanity is capable of remarkable resilience and innovation when we come together. We owe it to our children, our grandchildren, and generations yet unborn to build a world where sustainable development is not a choice, but a norm, where human dignity is not a privilege, but a birthright. In conclusion, let us act with urgency and purpose today and every day. Together, we can forge a sustainable and equitable future that upholds the dignity of all people and health of our planet. Thank you for your commitment, thank you for your action, and thank you for believing that together we can make a difference. Let's make history not for today, but for generations to come. Thank you for listening.
That has been our President of Brazil. Thank you so much. Let's welcome Adela.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, I'm Adela Treasure, the ex-president of DRC Congo. As we convene to discuss global issues, I would like to address the critical situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Gaza, where peace and stability are essential for the well-being of their people. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the ongoing conflict has caused immense human suffering, displacement, and instability. We call for an immediate cessation of hostilities and a commitment to dialogue and peace building. The international community must support the Congolese people in their quest for peace, stability, and prosperity. Similarly, in Gaza, the humanitarian crisis is dire, and the situation demands urgent attention. We call for an end to the violence and a return to negotiations towards a lasting peace. The international community must work towards a comprehensive solution that addresses the root causes of the conflict and ensures the rights and dignity of all parties involved. As a global community, we must prioritize peace building and conflict resolution. We must support initiatives that promote dialogue, understanding, and cooperation. We must also address the root causes of conflict, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of access to resources. Peace Peace building requires a collective effort, and we must work together to achieve our goals. We must support the United Nations and other international organizations in their efforts to promote peace and stability. We must act now to address the critical situations in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Gaza as well. We must work towards a more peaceful and stable world where all people can live in dignity and security. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the ex-president of DRC. Each speaker is reminded to only use 5 minutes.
Next, we have Akoraje.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here, my name is Akoraje Lisatash, Senior 4, representing a former head of state. I have witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of conflict and division on nations and communities, but I have also seen the transformative power of reconciliation in healing wounds, building trust, and fostering peace. Reconciliation is not just a moral imperative, but a strategic necessity for sustainable development and peace. When nations and communities come together, they can overcome even the most daunting challenges. I would like to share with you some examples of successful reconciliation initiatives from around the world. In South Africa, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission provided a platform for victims and perpetrators to share their stories and work towards healing and forgiveness. In Rwanda, the government established the National Commission for Unity and Reconciliation, which has played a crucial role in promoting unity and reconciliation among Rwandan people. In Northern Ireland, the Good Friday Agreement brought together former enemies and paved the way for peace and reconciliation. These examples demonstrate that reconciliation is possible, even in the most challenging circumstances, but it requires leadership, courage, and a commitment to dialogue and understanding. As heads of state, you have a unique opportunity to promote reconciliation in your countries. I urge you to prioritize dialogue, empathy, and understanding, create spaces for different voices to be heard, and work towards building trust and confidence among your citizens. Reconciliation is not just a one-time event, but a process that requires patience, persistence, and dedication. But the rewards are well worth it. When nations and communities come together, they can achieve great things and build a brighter future for all. I urge you to prioritize reconciliation in your nations. Draw on the examples of successful initiatives from around the world and work hard towards building a more peaceful and harmonious world. Thank you.
Next, we have Bamwesije Joshua, President of Botswana.
Honorable Chair and dignitaries gathered here today, it is with great humility and deep sense of responsibility that I stand here before you. Today at the esteemed gathering, the theme of this summit is sustainable development and human dignity resonates profoundly with the core values that bind us as a global community. Botswana, a nation that has long prioritized the well-being and dignity of its people, recognizes that true development goes beyond economic growth. It encompasses the realization of individual inherent rights, access to education, healthcare, and opportunities for a meaningful life. As we strive towards the sustainable development goals, we must remember that development must be inclusive, equitable, and environmentally sustainable. Our national resources are precious. They are not only the foundation for our economic progress, but also the custodians of our collective future. We commit to responsible stewardship of these resources, ensuring that they benefit current and future generations. Furthermore, human dignity must remain at the heart of our efforts. No one should be left behind. We affirm the importance of social protection, gender equality, and access to quality education and health care. When individuals are empowered and their rights respected, communities flourish and nations prosper. In Botswana, we are taking tangible steps to integrate sustainable practices into our nation development. Plans from investing in renewable energy to protecting our wildlife and promoting community-driven initiatives. Our aspirations are aligned with the global agenda for sustainable and defined future. However, the path ahead requires concerned international cooperation. We call upon all nations, development partners and stakeholders to uphold the principles and solidarity, shared responsibility and mutual respect. Only together can we overcome the challenges of climate change, inequality and poverty. In conclusion, let us reaffirm our collective commitment to building a world where sustainable development and human dignity are not aspirations but realities for all. The future depends on our action today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Botswana with your First Lady. Next on our program, let's invite the President of Canada, Alinda Hillary. You're most welcome.
A very good morning to you all. I recognize the Director UN, Secretary UN, and my fellow presence in the House. I want to congratulate His Excellency the President of Uganda, Mr. Museveni, and his team for not only this conference, but for the ongoing work stages, which is such an important work stages for the development of Uganda and Africa. But for the whole world, I really congratulate him for that. I think all of us, the United Nations, also recognize that Africa is at the center now of the ideas, of the initiatives, and of the actions that are going on to make sure that the rescue of the SDGs, in fact, it is something that happens, of course, that we have to look beyond 2030. We have to know that things don't stop in 2030, but we need to know that the progress we are making now sometimes is as difficult as it is. I will talk about in the moment is something that we need to continue to work upon together as the nation of Canada and Africa. First, let's have reality check on the headwinds that are affecting us. The climate crisis, which is ongoing, and which will be ongoing for the rest of my lifetime and for every single person in this room. And let me say, the president of ECOSOC, climate is not theory, climate is not ideology. Climate is science. Climate is fact that deals with science, with the facts that changing, they're already taking place, and dealing with the great dimensions that continue to come from industrialized countries than to continue to contribute to the climate crisis. I have to say, as the representative of Canada, that the arbitrary cuts that have been developed assistance by a number of countries, as well as the entirely unnecessary and as well as the painful tariff attacks which are having potentially such disastrous to the economic development and social justice. We have to face these challenges together. As I say, as a representative of Canada, I can tell you directly, we have to know something about tariff attacks. Our territorial integrity has been questioned. Our nationality has been questioned. And we, And we know as all of you the right to economic and social justice, and to free our trade is built in our charter. And everything that we stand for and have, we are fighting for together. I want to say to you, many Africans here, that the struggle you are facing, you are not facing it alone. The struggle you're facing it, we are facing it, the whole world. And above all in all difficult times, we must reaffirm the value of one simple thing, that is solidarity. The solidarity we must show with each other, and the solidarity we have to show in our work, in everything we do. Thank you.
Next, let's welcome the President of Tanzania, Shama. You're most welcome.
Honorable Chairperson, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before you today at this esteemed summit. We gather here as representatives of nations committed to peace, progress, and mutual prosperity. However, we cannot ignore the sobering reality that the exploitation of our continent's resources by the Western countries continues to impede in Africa's path towards a sustainable development. Africa is richly endowed with minerals, oil, gas, and other natural resources that belong to our people and our future. Yet, these resources are often extracted with minimal benefits to the local communities. The profits are diverted to foreign entities. This exploitation precipitates a cycle of underdevelopment, poverty, and inequality. For decades, foreign cooperatives and governments have prioritized their economic interests over the well-being of African nations. They engage in practices that lead to environmental degradation, displacement of communities, and erosion of local industries. This not only undermines our sovereignty, but also denies our citizens the opportunity to thrive, build a resilient communities. We must recognize the true development that requires equitable partnerships rooted in respect of our sovereignty, fair trade practices, and the transfer of technology and knowledge. We call upon the international community to uphold principles of practices and fairness, ensuring that African nations benefit fully from their resources. Furthermore, Africa is not merely a resource colony, but a continent of vibrant cultures, innovative youth, and untapped potential. Our future lies in empowering our people, investing in education, health, and infrastructure. These are the true foundations of a sustainable development. In conclusion, let us reaffirm our commitment to a fair, global system, one that supports Africa's aspirations to development and self-reliance. We seek a partnership based on shared prosperity, not exploitation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shama. Next, let us invite our President of German, Hamba Israel.
Honorable leaders and delegates here, before you is the representative president of Germany. President Putin is waging this war with one single objective: to seize Ukraine. Self-determination and political independence do not count for him. There is only one word for this. This is imperialism, plain and simple. Putin will only give up his war and his imperialist ambitions if he realizes that he cannot win. In doing so, he isn't just destroying Ukraine, but is also running his own country. This is why he will not accept a peace dictated by Russia, and will not accept any sham referendums either. This is why Ukraine must be able to defend itself against Russia's invasions. There's one more thing that I would like to add, which is that not one sack of grain has been held back on account of these sanctions. Russia alone has prevented Ukraine grain ships from putting out to sea, bombing ports and destroying agriculture enterprises. Where hunger prevails, there can be no peace. My predecessor, Nobel Peace Prize winner Willy Brandt, said this when he was addressed by Assembly as the first federal chancellor to do so in 1973. The fact that grain exports have made possible once again thanks to the meditation efforts of Secretary General Gartiers, and Turkey deserves great respect. Germany is also supporting Ukraine with the export of food, and will stand by Ukraine when it comes to shouldering the enormous costs for rebuilding the country. At the International Expert Conference, which I am hosting with the President of the European Commission in Berlin on 25th October, we'll together with the supporters of Ukraine from all around the world think about how we can manage this Herculean task. Oh my God. For the protection of the lives and the freedom of the Ukrainians, and for the protection of our international order. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hamba Israela.
Recognize the presence of our redeemed guest of honor, Honorable Kasule Lumumba. Thank you for joining us to this Global Unification Summit 2025 program. You are most welcome. Please, you can take up your seats.
Moreover, a strong cultural identity promotes social cohesion and mutual respect among diverse communities within a nation. It cultivates a sense of unity and purpose, which is essential in tackling the challenges of inequality, social unrest, and external pressures. At the global level, cultural exchange fosters understanding and peaceful, for instance, when we embrace the richness of our cultures and build bridges of dialogue and collaboration, essential for addressing transitional issues such as climate change, health crises, and conflict. Policymakers must recognize that investing in culture preservation in an investment in people's happiness, resilience, and sustainable development. Education systems should incorporate cultural knowledge and initiatives, should support local traditions and languages, ensuring that future generations cherish their roots while adapting to a changing world. In conclusion, let us reaffirm our commitment to uphold and celebrate in the cultural diversity that enriches our global community. By doing so, we empower our nations, uplift our people, build a future rooted in shared respect, creativity, and harmony. Thank you.
That has been the President of Thailand. Thank you so much. Next, let's welcome the President of India. You're most welcome.
Distinguished delegates, esteemed leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to stand before you today at this esteemed gathering of nations, where we unite with a shared purpose to foster peace, prosperity, and sustainable development for all. As the President of India, I am proud to represent a nation that, through its rich diversity and resilient spirit, is driving significant economic transformation while championing the values of peace, building on both national and global stations. Today, India is not just a country of a billion dreams, but a land where those dreams are rapidly materializing into reality. Over the past few decades, we have embarked on a journey of monumental economic transformation, characterized by robust growth, innovation, and inclusive development. Our GDP has witnessed exponential growth, making India one of the world's largest economies. This achievement is not merely a number, it reflects the hard work of our citizens, the entrepreneurial spirit of our youth, and the commitment of our government to foster a business-friendly environment. We have embarked technology as a cornerstone of our economic strategy, utilizing digital solutions to empower our farmers, enhance healthcare, accessibility, and modernize our infrastructure. Initiatives like Digital India and Make in India embody our vision to harness technological advancements and innovation in creating self-reliant communities. We believe that economic growth must be inclusive, ensuring that every segment of society, especially women and marginalized communities, has the opportunity to thrive. As we celebrate achievements, we acknowledge that economic prosperity goes in hand with peace and stability. India has a long-standing tradition. Development is built upon a foundation of peace. Our commitment to peace building is reflected in our active participation in international collaborations, peacekeeping missions, and our efforts to promote dialogue in conflict regions. India's approach to peace building is holistic. We advocate for social cohesion, economic equality, and cultural understanding. We have invested in initiatives that promote education, interfaith, dialogue, and community engagement. Recognizing that sustainable peace can only be achieved when people feel heard, valued, and empowered. Today, as we confront global challenges such as climatic change, terrorism, and economic inequality, the importance of international cooperation cannot be overstated. India stands ready to contribute, sharing our best practices and working collaboratively with nations across the globe to build a peaceful, stable, and prosperous world. Let us remember that economic transformation is not an end itself, it is a means to create a better future for all. As we navigate this journey together, may we remain steadfast in our commitment to peace, fostering an environment where every nation can thrive free from unwants. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, the President of India. The reason for this Global Unification Summit is to share the global challenges. We believe that every challenge has a solution. Next on our program, let's welcome the President of Ukraine.
Honorable leaders and delegates gathered here today, I stand before you today to address the ongoing crisis in my country, Ukraine, caused by the actions of the Russian Federation. The conflict in eastern Ukraine has been ongoing for many years, and it has caused immense human suffering, displacement, and economic hardship. The Russian Federation's actions in Ukraine are a clear violation of international law and the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. the annexation of Crimea, support for separatist groups in eastern Ukraine are unacceptable and have been widely condemned by the international community. The people of Ukraine are suffering and we need the world's attention and support. We need to see concrete actions taken to hold Russia accountable for its actions and to bring an end to this conflict. We call on the international community to continue to support Ukraine in its efforts to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We need diplomatic pressure, economic support, and security assistance to help us protect our citizens in our territory. The crisis in Ukraine is not just a regional issue, it has global implications. The actions of the Russian Federation in Ukraine challenge international and undermine the principles of international law. If left unchecked, this aggression could embolden other nations to pursue similar actions, threatening global stability and security. We urge the international community to remain united in support for Ukraine and to continue to pressure Russia to comply with its international obligations. We need to see tangible steps taken to de-escalate the situation and to bring out a peaceful resolution to this conflict. I want to emphasize that Ukraine will continue to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, and we will continue to work with our international partners to bring out a peaceful resolution to this conflict. We will not give up and we will not surrender. Thank you.
Next, let us invite the Princess of the UK.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and cherished friends, good afternoon to you all. Today, I stand before you with a heavy heart and resolute spirit. It is my sincere hope that this moment marks a step towards understanding justice and solidarity. For too long, the burden of exploitation and the abuse of peace have weighed heavily on the nations of Africa. The resources The burden of exploitation and the abuse of peace have weighed heavily on the nations of Africa. The resources of this magnificent continent, rich in mineral wealth, fertile land and vibrant cultures, have too often been plundered to serve the interests of foreign powers, leaving local communities impoverished and peace disturbed. This pattern of exploitation not only robs Africa of its rightful resources, but undermines its sovereignty, its dignity and its future. It is a profound injustice when external interests prioritize profit over the well-being of people, disregarding the sovereignty and self-determination of African nations. Let us remember that true partnership is built on respect, equality, and mutual benefit, not on exploitation and denomination. It is time for the nations of the world, including my own, to acknowledge past wrongs and to commit to a new chapter, one where Africa's sovereignty is scarred and inviolable. I call upon governments, organizations and individuals across the globe to stand with Africa in quest for independence, justice and peace, support efforts that empower African nations to control their resources, develop their communities ethically, and protect their cultures and environments. Together, we can build a world that respects the right and dignity of all its people. A world where peace and prosperity are not just dreams, but realities for every nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our Princess of the UK. Next, let us invite the UN Secretary.
The UN Chairperson, distinguished honorables, members at large, a good afternoon. As we convene to discuss the critical issues of sustainable development and peace building, I would like to emphasize the urgent need for collective action to address the challenges facing our world. The Sustainable Development Goals are a blueprint for a better future, and we must work together to achieve them. However, the progress is uneven, and we are far from being on track to meet the targets by year 2030. We need to accelerate our efforts to eradicate poverty, reduce inequality, and protect the environment. Climate change, in particular, is a pressing concern that requires immediate attention and action. Rising temperatures, sea level rise, and extreme weather events are having devastating impacts on communities around our world. At the same time, we are facing a crisis of peace and security. Conflicts are raging in many parts of the world, causing immense human suffering and displacement. We need to work together to prevent and resolve conflicts and to build sustainable peace. Peace building is not just about ending violence, it's about creating the conditions for sustainable development and human well-being. It's about promoting social justice, human rights, and the rule of law. As we work towards sustainable development and peace building, we must also recognize the importance of international cooperation and multilateralism. The United Nations is a unique platform for global action, and we must use it to its full potential. Dear Member States, I call on all nations to recommit to the principles of the United Nations and to work together to address the challenges facing our world today. We need to put people at the center of our efforts and to prioritize their needs and well-being. Let us work together to build a world that is more just, more equitable, and more peaceful. Let us strive for a world where all people can live with dignity and hope, and where future generations can thrive. Dear members, united we stand. Thank you.
That has been the United Nations Secretary. Thank you so much. Much as we speak, we have to listen and find the resolutions. Next, let's welcome the President of Zimbabwe. You are most welcome.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and fellow Africans, a very good afternoon to you all. Before you standing is the President of Zimbabwe, Chiza Timothy Joseph. First and foremost, I greatly appreciate the organizers of this summit for the great theme, leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of sustainable peace and development and human dignity for present and future generations. And I hope the information in it will be established in all countries in Africa, including Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe as a country, we have a lot of anger. We have a lot of anger caused by the ongoing issues, majorly caused by the Prime Minister of US. Sometimes I sit down and I ask myself, are we having a return of Goliath to our midst who threatens the extinctions of some countries? Oh, may I say to the President of the United States of America, please blow your trumpet in a musical way towards the values of unity, peace, cooperation, togetherness, and dialogue. This is what we have always stood for, and which are well reached in the sacred of document. And the document I'm talking about is the Charter of the United Nations. Upon those values, each nation can build its greatness. If I may ask, where does the Charter arrogate some countries to sit in judgment of others. In that regard, we reject the politicization of this important issue and the application of double standards to victimize those who dare think and act independently to the self-anointed prophets of our time. We equally reject attempts to prescribe new rights that are contrary to our values, norms, traditions, and beliefs. They say we are gays, but we are not. It originates from them. Let no one who is negative and wants to spoil what we are doing as we Africans for ourselves in order to unite Africa. We do all we do because we belong to Africa. We don't mind having and bearing sanctions, banning us from Europe. We are not Europeans. We have not asked any inch of that Europe, any square inch of that. So, Blair, keep your England and I'll keep my Zimbabwe. This regime is changed. This person should not be there. We want someone else. The creditor was telling me the other day that he has been told that, oh, your party had been in power for so long. You must now allow another party to take over. Is that democracy? And that was now coming from those Europeans. Please, someone tell them to shut their mouths. They don't live in Africa, so they should leave African affairs alone. Well, if they don't, we shall make them our fighters. If they don't leave African affairs, we will fight a fight for our own identities as Africans. Because we do this because we are Africans. That's my biggest emphasis. If payers saw they are no longer willing to pay for their land, should they have just folded their hands and say, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit? That's madness. By the way, if I'm to ask, Blair, who are you? Just a Prime Minister of Britain? I'm a President of Zimbabwe. So that's why I say it's okay for you to keep your money and we shall keep our continent in return. My last advice to all the presidents who have gathered in this place is, as leaders, we have a critical role to play in fostering an environment that supports the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity. We must not work tirelessly to promote dialogue, understanding, justice, and cooperation among nations and communities. We must invest in our people, particularly the youth, because these are the future generations that we are talking about, including also the women and the marginalized groups of people, because these are the people who are bringing our progress forward.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, as we convene to discuss global issues, I would like to address a pressing concern that affects the sovereignty and cultural identity of many nations, the imposition of Western values and norms of non-Western countries. Some Western countries are attempting to impose their values and norms on other nations, including on issues such as homosexuality, and this imposition is often done through conditionality, where economic aid, trade benefits, or diplomatic recognition are tied to the acceptance of these values. We reject this approach. Every nation has the right to determine its own values, norms, and laws, free from external interference. We believe that cultural diversity and national sovereignty are essential to global stability and prosperity. Furthermore, we are concerned about the abuse of countries' independence. Some Western countries are using their economic and political power to impose their will on other nations, often under the guise of promoting democracy, human rights, or stability. We call on all nations to respect the sovereignty and independence of other countries. We believe that every nation has the right to determine its own democracy, human rights, and flexibility. In Mauritania, we are committed to promoting our own values and traditions which are rooted in our Islamic heritage and African culture. We believe that our laws and customs are designed to promote the well-being and dignity of our citizens, and we will not be swayed by the external pressure to compromise our values. Therefore, let us work together to promote a more and just, equitable world where every nation is treated with dignity and respect. Let us reject the imposition of Western values and norms on non-Western countries and instead promote a culture of mutual respect and cooperation. Thank you.
The United Nations Summit is a platform that is put to illustrate the power of unity in diversity.
Thank you so much, our President of Mauritania. Next, let us welcome the President of North Korea.
My fellow leaders, I greet you. Today, I stand before you to speak about matters of profound importance that affect our nation's security and our future as a peaceful and sovereign state. The history of international nations is complex and the actions of other nations often influence our destiny. While the United States has been our longest-standing ally and partner, it is crucial we receive and address the concern of surrounding intervention in the affair of our country and the global proliferation of nuclear weapons. The presence of the nuclear arsenals in the world poses a grave threat to peace and stability. The pressure of possession in the nuclear weapons by various nations increase the risk of conflicts and determine international security and threatens our people's well-being. As a sovereign state, Korea remains committed to peace, stability, and diplomatic solution. As we advocate for the decolonization of Korean Peninsula and support international efforts to develop the nuclear proliferation of treaties and dialogues. It is also essential for the international communities, especially powerful countries, to respect the sovereignty of other countries upon the principles of non-coordinating and can destabilize regions under diplomatic global peace. As we move forward, Korea will continue to promote peace, security, and multilateral cooperation and adhesion to international norms. We will work closely with our allies, neighbors, and global communities to create our world security and achieve other dialogues and understand to respect our peace. Let us commit for our future where nuclear is diplomatic and sovereignty is respected. Ensure safe peace for the generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President of North Korea. Next, let us invite the President of Eritrea.
Hello everyone, my name is Perfect and I am very proud to be here today representing Eritrea, a small but strong country. I want to thank the organizers of this summit for bringing together young voices from all over the world. It is truly an honor to speak on such an important theme. Leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations. This may sound like a big topic, but actually to me, it's a small topic. It means that everyone should be treated fairly, everyone should be included, and future generations. It means that everyone should be treated fairly, everyone should be included, and everyone should be given a chance to succeed. Let me begin with peace. Peace is more than just not fighting. It means feeling safe at home, in school, and in our communities. It means solving problems by talking, not fighting. In Eritrea, we know how valuable peace is. Our history has had many challenges, but we always look forward to a better future. We believe that peace starts with understanding each other, listening before judging, helping instead of hurting. If we want to build a better world, peace is the first step. Without peace, children cannot learn, families cannot grow, and dreams cannot come true. The second part of the theme is sustainable development. That sounds like a big word too, but it simply means making life better without harming our future. In Eritrea, we are doing our best to protect the environment. We are planting trees, saving water, and learning new ways to grow food, even in dry areas. We know that the earth is our only home, and we must take care of it together. Young people everywhere can take action. We can recycle, save energy, and use our voices to speak for the planet. We don't need to wait to be adults to make a difference. We are the future, but we are also the present. The third part of the theme is human dignity. That means treating every person with respect and kindness, no matter where they come from, what they look like, or how much money they have. In Eritrea, people live in villages, towns, and cities. Some are rich, some are poor, but we believe that every person matters. Everyone should have access to education, clean water, healthcare, and the chance to grow and dream. When we treat others with respect, we create a world where no one feels left out. We stop bullying, racism, and unfair treatment. We learn to celebrate our differences and work together. Sometimes the world forgets about the people who are struggling in the most. Children in war zones, girls who don't go to school, families without food, or people without homes. But leaving no one behind means we must reach out to help those who need it most. If gone wrong, if one person is suffering, it affects all of us. As young people, we must be kind, brave, and strong enough to care. Even small acts of love and support can make a big difference. Let us not be selfish. Let us be the generation that lifts each other up, not just with words, but with action. From the heart of Eritrea, I bring you this message. Let us be the generation that chooses peace over all, unity over division, and love over hate. Let us take care of each other and take care of our world. Let us speak up for those without a voice and stand up for what is right. Because when we leave no one behind, we all move forward. Remember peace, don't be silent, don't be afraid. Eritrea is proud to stand with you all.
Thank you so much, President of Eritrea. Next, let us welcome the President of Spain.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Secretary General, distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. It is a great honor to address this esteemed assembly today. As we gather at this pivotal summit, we reaffirm Spain's unwavering commitment to uphold human dignity and advance sustainable development for all. Ladies and gentlemen, Spain firmly believes that every individual, regardless of their background, nationality, or circumstance, deserves respect, rights, and opportunities. Our government has launched initiatives aimed at strengthening social inclusion, reducing inequalities, and protecting vulnerable populations. For example, back in our home country, Spain, our national strategy for human rights, which was created by the government, emphasizes education, health, and employment as pillars of human dignity, ensuring that no one is at all left behind. Distinguished delegates, in terms of sustainable development, Spain recognizes the critical importance of balancing economic growth with environmental stewardship.
We are very proud of our leadership in renewable energy, especially in wind and solar power, where we must say that Spain is among the top producers globally. Our efforts have led to a significant reduction in carbon emissions, aligning with the Paris Agreement commitment so that we can promote a safe environment for our future generations and the current one. Furthermore, Spain has invested in sustainable urban development. Projects such as the Madrid Green Plan have transformed our cities into more livable, eco-friendly spaces, promoting public transportation, green zones, and waste reduction, all contributing to a healthier planet and enhanced quality of life for our citizens. We are also committed to supporting global efforts for sustainable development. Spain contributes to international aid programs focused on education, poverty reduction, and climate resilience in vulnerable regions. For example, Uganda, the slums of Uganda. Our partnership with organizations such as UNICEF and the World Food Programme underscores a dedication to fostering global human dignity. In conclusion, Spain remains steadfast in its pledge to promote human dignity and sustainable development. We, as the Spanish people, as we call ourselves, El Pueblo Español in Spanish, believe that if we work together as nations, organizations, and individuals, we can we can create a future where dignity is universal and our planet thrives for generations to come. Let this summit not just be a conversation, but a commitment. Let us act together, let us walk together, and let us build a world where no one is left behind. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, President of Spain. Next, let us welcome the President of Senegal.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, I stand before you today committed to the theme leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations. As the Prime Minister of Kenya, I recognize the importance of collective action in achieving this vision. In Kenya, we have made significant strides in promoting peace and stability. Our National Cohesion and Integration Commission has played a crucial role in fostering national unity and addressing ethnic and racial tensions. We will continue to build on this progress, ensuring that all Kenyans feel included and valued. Our Vision 2030 aims to transform Kenya into a newly industrializing middle-income country, providing a high quality of life for all citizens. We are committed to sustainable development, prioritizing economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental stability. Initiatives such as our Green Economy Strategy will help us achieve this vision. We are committed to promoting human dignity by ensuring access to basic services such as healthcare, education, and clean water. Our universal health coverage program aims to provide quality healthcare to all citizens, while our effort to improve access to education has led to significant increases in enrollment rates. We recognize that achieving these themes' objectives requires a focus of the most vulnerable members of our society. We will prioritize initiatives that support women, youth, and persons with disabilities, ensuring that they have quality opportunities to participate in and benefit from our development efforts. Examples of initiatives: housing initiatives. Our affordable housing program aims to provide decent housing for all Kenyans, particularly the low-income and vulnerable populations. Food security. We are implementing initiatives to improve food security, such as irrigation schemes and agriculture support programs, to ensure that all Kenyans have access to nutritious food. Youth empowerment. Our youth empowerment programs
aim to provide skills training, entrepreneurship support, and employment opportunities, enabling young Kenyans to contribute to our nation's development. Thank you.
That has been the voice of the voiceless, the Prime Minister of Kenya. Thank you so much. Next, let's welcome the Prime Minister of Ethiopia.
Together we gather to reaffirm the renewed commitment to the advanced peace, to human dignity across the beloved continent. Today we stand across the challenges of our time: ethnic conflicts, poverty, climate change demands of your attention. Therefore, our strategies must be the voice of our people, especially those who have historical memories, like women and the youth. To advance peace and human dignity, we need to support, promote, understand people among diverse population, and foster culture of peace. Let us in education, for it is the bedrock of sustainability development. We must also reaffirm our continent to human rights. Every person, regardless to their background, deserves to live a life from oppression. We must strengthen the legal frameworks, ensure accountability, and promote justice. The African character of human and personal rights must guide our actions, reminding us that the dignity of individual is carried. Therefore, we have the tools at our disposal to connect, to educate, and to empower. Together we can create platforms that amplify the voice and advocate the peace and dignity across the continent. I remain the President of Ethiopia, Gaineko Emmanuel Jr. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, the President of Ethiopia. At this juncture, I would like to recognize the presence of our dear principal, the principal of Our Lady of Africa Schools. You are most welcome to this summit. Next, let's welcome the President of Ivory Coast. You are most welcome.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, I am called Miracle Allen, the President of the mighty Ivory Coast. As we convene to discuss global issues, I would like to address a pressing concern that affects the African continent: the exploitation of African resources by Western countries and the impact on our independence. Africa is rich in natural resources, from oil and gas to minerals and timber. However, despite this wealth, many African countries remain among the poorest in the world. This is not a coincidence. For centuries, Africa's resources have been exploited by external powers, often to detriment of our people and our economies. The legacy of colonialism and imperialism continues to shape our world today. Western countries have historically exploited African resources, often through unfair trade agreements, corrupt deals, and military intervention. This exploitation has undermined our independence and hindered our development. For example, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the exploitation of cobalt and other minerals has fueled conflict and human rights abuses. In Nigeria, the oil industry has devastated local communities and ecosystems. In my own country, Ivory Coast, the cocoa industry has been subject to unfair trade practices and price manipulation. These examples illustrate the systemic nature of the problem. Western countries and corporations have often prioritized their own interests over the needs and rights of African people. This has perpetuated poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment on our continent. As African leaders, we are committed to promoting the independence and sovereignty of our countries. We believe that our nations have the right to determine their own destiny, free from external interference and exploitation. We call on Western countries to recognize their historical and ongoing role in exploiting Africa's resources. We urge them to work with us to develop fair and equitable partnerships that benefit both our peoples. Let us work together to build a more just and equitable world, where Africa's resources are used to benefit Africa's people. Let us promote a new era of cooperation and mutual respect, where our nations are treated as equals, not as exploited colonies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Ivory Coast. Next, let's welcome the President of Saudi Arabia. You're most welcome.
Chairperson UN, Secretary UN, Information Director, honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, good afternoon. As we convene to discuss global issues, I would like to address two critical concerns that affect the world: the impact of the fuel prices in the global economy and the situation in Gaza. As a major oil-producing country, Saudi Arabia recognizes the importance of energy in driving economic growth and development. However, we also acknowledge the challenges posed by volatile fuel prices, which can have far-reaching impacts on the global economy. We believe that stability in the energy market is crucial for economic growth and development. Therefore, we call for cooperation among oil-producing and consuming countries to ensure a stable and balanced energy market. We believe that stability in the energy market is crucial for economic growth and development. Furthermore, we are deeply concerned about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The ongoing conflict has caused immense suffering for the Palestinian people, and it's imperative that we work together towards a peaceful resolution. We call for an immediate cessation of hostilities and return to negotiation towards a two-state solution. We believe that a just and lasting peace in the Middle East can only be achieved through dialogue and diplomacy. As a custodian of the holy sites in Mecca and Medina, Saudi Arabia has always promoted peace and tolerance. We believe that peace is not just the absence of conflict, but also presence of justice, equality, and mutual respect. Let us work together to promote peace, stability, and prosperity around the world. Let us address the challenges posed by fuel prices and work towards a more sustainable and equitable energy future. I would like to emphasize that Saudi Arabia is committed to playing a constructive role in promoting global peace and stability. We will continue to work with our international partners to address the challenges facing the world and promote a brighter future for all. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Saudi Arabia. At this juncture, let's welcome the President, the host of this Unification Global Summit 2024 program. You are most welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is a topic I can speak on for the whole day. I'm glad to address this meeting containing various heads of states across all continents. The crisis which is in Africa today is because of philosophical, ideological, strategic mistakes which we have been talking about since the 1960s. The World Bank and other people have been talking about sustainable development. I'm now about 80 years old. I have never seen sustainable pregnancy. That a woman is pregnant this year, the pregnancy continues next year, 3 years, 4 years, it has never happened. In life, pregnancy develops sustainably within the womb of the woman. Quantitatively, the baby is growing bigger and bigger. But at some stage, pregnancy must become a baby. If the pregnancy remains pregnancy, the fetus may die. So therefore, I would ask you to change those words in your documents. Africa does not need sustainable development. Africa needs socio-economic transformation. The pregnancy must become a baby must grow and become a teenager. That's what happens in life. The agricultural products and minerals, copper, were being exported as raw materials. In France, I hear, matière première. This means that on the average, getting about 10% of the value of the product. If you take coffee, when you export a kilogram of coffee, you will get about $2.5 of unprocessed coffee. Somebody who is clever than you takes the coffee, roasts it, grinds it, packs it, and gets $40 when you got $2.5. These are all jobs. The job of roasting the coffee is exported, and the job of grinding, the job of packaging, and those jobs are all exported. How can you talk of private sector led growth if you don't talk about lowering the cost of production? Now, some of the factors that bring cost to group is transport of cargo. If you have got expensive cargo transport, how would the company succeed? So, railway transport, water transport, electricity, an educated and health workforce, stopping the export of raw materials, low cost of money for borrowing through business, a big market of Africa and beyond. Now those are the obstacles that you should really concentrate on. Recently, we passed a law against homosexuality. Then America removed us from the AGOA list. And World Bank stopped giving us loans. But our economy grew by 6%. We are not bothered with all that. What is crucial for me, apart from only my mistakes, my next most important thing is regional integration. In conclusion, the economy of Uganda has been growing so fast with or without external support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our President of Uganda. Next, let us invite the President of USA.
Secretary UN, Chairperson, Information Director, fellow presidents at large, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I stand before you today to address the complex issue. I want to reaffirm our total commitment to supporting Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine poses a significant challenge to regional stability and global security. We condemn Russia's actions, including the accession to Crimea, and call for a peaceful resolution. The United States will continue to provide support to Ukraine, including economic assistance, military aid, and diplomatic backing. We will work with our international partners to ensure Ukraine receives the best support it needs. We will also recognize the importance of maintaining open lines of communication with Russia's allies. We We will continue to engage in diplomatic efforts to promote regional stability and ensure all parties work towards a peaceful resolution. Our key priority as Americans are: we prioritize in diplomatic efforts to promote a peaceful resolution to the conflict. We will continue to provide support to Ukraine, including economic and military aid, and we are also committed to supporting or promoting regional stability and security. The United States will continue in supporting Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We will continue to work with our international partners to promote a peaceful resolution to the conflict and ensure regional stability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our President of USA. Next, let us welcome the President of DRC.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, I stand before you as the President of DRC, Mutebi Jeremiah Damian. I stand before you to address a critical issue that affects my country, the Democratic Republic of Congo. The unrest in the eastern part of our country attributed to the M23 rebel group. It is a matter of great concern. We have evidence that suggests Rwanda is supporting the M23, which is a clear violation of international law and the sovereignty of the Congo. This support is fueling the conflict, causing immense human suffering and destabilizing the region. As a result, we are seeing a significant influx of internally displaced persons, and our humanitarian situation is dire. We need the support of the international community to address the crisis. I call on Rwanda to cease its support for the M23 and to respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Congo. We also call on the international community to pressure Rwanda to comply with the international law. Furthermore, we believe that regional cooperation is essential to addressing the crisis. We are working closely with our neighbors, including Uganda, Tanzania, and Zambia, to promote stability and security in the region. We need support of the United Nations and the international community to deploy peacekeeping forces and provide humanitarian assistance to the affected areas. We also need support for our efforts to disarm, demobilize, and reintegrate former combatants. I urge the international community to take a strong stance against the M23 and its supporters. We need to work together to promote peace, stability, and security in the region. We need to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Congo and ensure that perpetrators of the violence and human rights abusers are held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, let us invite the President of Rwanda.
Fellow country heads, good afternoon. My name is Kamsime Olson, and I am the President of Rwanda. When it comes to Africa, I'm sure many people in this audience will have made the same observations. I think we must take the responsibility and accept our failures in dealing with these matters. For me, when I'm watching television and I find our leaders who should have been working together all along to address these problems that commonly affect their countries, wait until they are invited to go to Europe and sit there and just. And it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about ourselves, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for photo opportunity. We are happy to sit there in Paris with the President of France and just talk about addressing the problems. It doesn't make sense that our leaders cannot get themselves together to address problems affecting our people. It doesn't make sense. Because I'm saying this painfully, but on the other hand, I look forward for the time when I can be like the former presidents. I think they are free to say things than I do. Being where they are and where I am. So I tend to remain with some reservations about what I have to say but I think there is that serious problem. African leaders, we don't need to be invited anywhere to go and address our problems without first inviting ourselves to come together to tell each other the actual truth that we must tell each other about our serious problems. So look at the problem of South Sudan. Indeed, the first problem was about this country and the people there wanting to be independent. They got independence. Now that turned into a problem. How? So you have one war being fought, waged to be independent. Then you have to fight another when you have achieved independence. Just fighting among themselves. Why? So some of these underlying roots causes should and could have been addressed by the leaders there. Whatever happened, whoever was wrong, that's not the issue. It is still the responsibility of leaders to first settle their problems before getting to Europe. After that, you hear these Western capitals sit in meeting discussing the tension between Rwanda and Congo, that they are going to sanction Rwanda. If anyone around thinking they can sanction Rwanda, to what? Go to hell? Just go to hell. You have your own issues to deal with. Go deal with your own issues, leave me to mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Rwanda, the country that is using this platform to show the power of unity in diversity. Next, let's welcome the Entertainment Department, the Karakaraka Department.
Thank you so much for that entertainment. Next, let's welcome the World Bank of the United Nations.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow citizens, good afternoon to you all. Standing before you is the leader of the World Bank. Excellencies, Africa stands at a pivotal moment, not only of challenge, but of immense opportunity. With just 5 years remaining to achieve the 230 agenda and the second decade of the Agenda 263 now underway, we must confront the hard truths and match them with bold, courageous solutions. Yes, progress has not been fast enough. Structural inequalities persist, informal employment remains widespread, disproportionately affecting women, our young people, and rural communities. The annual financing gap to achieve the SDGs stands at staggering $200 billion. Foreign direct investments to Africa declined in 2024 by 1.9%, falling to $53 billion. And the burden of debts is suffocating in 2023. Around 25 African countries spend more on external debt servicing than on health and education combined. This is unacceptable. Over 60% of countries are now in or at a higher risk of debt distress. In too many countries, more than half of government revenue goes to debt repayment, undermining vital investments in people resilience, jobs, and growth. The Abuja Declaration remaining a distant ambition, half of African countries spend less than 6% of national budgets on health, and the high cost of digital access, especially in rural areas, continues to exclude millions of our people, deepening gender and geographic divides. But these figures do not define us. Africa is not standing still. We are standing up despite global headwinds. Our continent accounted for 9 of the world's fastest growing economies in 2024. Progress against HIV and AIDS is encouraging, with nearly 24 countries recording significant declines in new infections. Conclusion: the World Bank is committed to supporting sustainable development, particularly in areas like we support investments in infrastructure, including transportation, energy, and digital connectivity, to promote economic growth and reduce poverty. We prioritize investments in education, health, and social protection to build human capital and promote economic resilience, and also support efforts to mitigate the impacts of climate change, including investments in renewable energy and climate resilient infrastructure. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, the leader of the World Bank. Next, let's welcome the President of Kosovo.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, as a nation that has experienced the struggle for self-determination and democracy, I stand before you today to emphasize the importance of building peace through democratic principles. Kosovo's journey to independence has been marked by challenges and sacrifices, but we have made significant progress in establishing a democratic system, promoting human rights, and fostering economic development. However, as we strive for peace and stability in our region and beyond, we are concerned about the interference of some Western countries in our democratic process of other nations. This interference can take many forms, from overt meddling to subtle manipulation, and it undermines the very foundations of democracy. We believe that democracy should be built from within through the free and fair participation of citizens in the decision-making process. External interference can disrupt this process, leading to instability, conflict, and even violence. We urge Western countries to respect our sovereignty and democratic processes of other nations. Instead of imposing their will or interests, they should support and empower local institutions, promote transparency and accountability, and foster a culture of dialogue and cooperation. The United Nations Charter enshrines the principles of sovereignty and non-interference. We must uphold these principles and work together to build a more peaceful and democratic world. In Kosovo, we have made significant progress in building a democratic society, but we still face challenges. We believe that our experience can serve as an example for other nations, but we are committed to sharing our knowledge and expertise to support democratic development around the world. Let's work together to build a world where democracy is not imposed from outside, but emerges from the will and participation of citizens. Let's promote a culture of respect, cooperation, and peaceful resolution of conflicts. Thank you. I remain the President of Kosovo, Herno Veneros Maria.
Thank you so much. That has been the President of Kosovo. Next, let's welcome the President of Sweden. Good afternoon to you all. This is the Prime Minister of Sweden. Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, as we convene to discuss global issues, I would like to emphasize the importance of respecting human dignity and life. Every individual has inherent value and deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Sweden is committed to promoting human rights and the rule of law, both within our own borders and around the world. We believe that all people should be able to live in safety, security, and dignity, free from violence, discrimination, and oppression. Maintaining peace is essential to achieving this goal. We need to work together to prevent conflicts, resolve disputes peacefully, and build sustainable peace. This requires a commitment to dialogue, diplomacy, and cooperation. Sweden is proud to be a strong advocate for women's rights, children's rights, and the rights of marginalized and vulnerable groups. We believe that empowering women and girls is crucial to achieving sustainable development and peace. We recognize the importance of protecting civilians and conflict zones and ensuring accountability for human rights abuses. We need to work together to prevent atrocities and ensure that those responsible are held accountable. In Sweden, we have a strong tradition of humanitarianism and international cooperation. We will continue to work with our partners around the world to promote human dignity and life, and to maintain peace and security.
Let us work together to build a world where every individual can live in dignity and respect, free from fear and violence. Let us respect a culture of peace, tolerance and understanding, and ensure that human rights are respected and protected around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Sweden. Next on our program, let's welcome the President of Eswatini.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, as we converse to discuss global issues, I would like to share with you the progress of my country, Eswatini, has made in achieving sustainable development and maintaining peace. Eswatini is committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and has made significant strides in promoting economic growth, social development and environmental protection. We have implemented policies and programs aimed at reducing poverty, improving healthcare, and increasing access to education. One of our key initiatives is the National Development Strategy, which focuses on promoting economic diversification, improving infrastructure, and enhancing the business environment. We have also made significant investments in renewable energy, particularly solar and hydroelectricity power, to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and mitigate the impacts of climate change. In addition to our development efforts, we are proud to our commitment to maintaining peace and stability in our region. Eswatini has a long history of peaceful coexistence with our neighbors and has played an active role in regional organizations such as the African Union and the Southern African Development Community. We believe that peace and stability are essential for sustainable development and have taken steps to strengthen our security institutions and promote social cohesion. We have also worked to build strong relationships with our international partners based on mutual respect and cooperation. As a small country, we recognize the importance of international cooperation and multilateralism in addressing global challenges. We call on all nations to work together and address issues such as climate change, poverty and inequality, and to promote peace and stability around the world. Eswatini has committed to achieving sustainable development and maintaining peace, both within our borders and in the region. We look forward to continuing our collaboration with the United Nations and other international partners to achieve these goals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Eswatini. Next, let us welcome the President of Italy.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow citizens, good afternoon. Today we gather here with a shared vision, a world where every individual has the opportunity to thrive, where every voice is heard, and where no one is left behind. The theme, leaving no one behind, is not just a slogan. It's a call to action, a reminder that our collective progress is only meaningful if it benefits all members of our society. As we stand here, we respect different walks of life, each with our own stories, struggles and triumphs. But we are united in our commitment to ensuring that no matter who you are, where you come from, or what challenges you face, you have a place in our society and a stake in our future. Leaving no one behind means recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. It means addressing the systemic barriers that prevent marginalized communities from accessing opportunities. It means listening to those voices of people who are often silenced and amplifying their stories. It means investing in education, healthcare, and social protection for all, regardless of your background or circumstances. It means creating an economy that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. It means embracing diversity and promoting inclusion in all its forms. But this is not just a task for governments or institutions. It's a responsibility that each of us bears. We must challenge our biases. Confront justice, and stand in solidarity with those who are struggling. As we strive to leave no one behind, we must also recognize that this journey is not without its challenges. There will be setbacks, there will be resistance, and there will be a time when the path ahead seems uncertain. But we shall not be deterred. We must draw strength from our shared humanity and our collective determination to create a better world. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us commit to this noble cause. Let us work together to build a better world where everyone can contribute their unique talents and perspectives, and where no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the President of Italy. Next, let us welcome the President of Serbia.
Honorable Secretary General, distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, it's with great honor and profound responsibility that I address this esteemed assembly today to speak about Serbia's commitment to sustainable development and our aspirations for a brighter, more equitable future. Serbia is a country rich in natural resources and vibrant color heritage, faces both challenges and opportunities in our journey towards sustainable development. Our nation's growth depends on addressing critical issues such as poverty alleviation, environmental conservation, and social inclusion. Serbia is characterized by its lush forests, extensive river systems, and diverse ecosystems. However, climate change poses a serious threat to our environment and livelihoods. As an example, coastal erosion and rising sea levels threaten our coastal communities and virtual infrastructure. To combat mangroves and forests, which act as natural barriers against erosion and serve as carbon sinks. Environmentally, we are focusing on sustainable industries that can uplift our people. The agriculture sector, employing more than 70% of Serbians, is pressurized through initiatives promoting climate-smart farming techniques and value addition to crops, cocoa butter, and rubber. For instance, the Serbia Rubber Developing Initiative has successfully increased rubber production while ensuring environmental conservation. Educating our youth and empowering women are vital to our development goals. Serbia has increased investment in primary education with programs Inclusive Society. And additionally, women-led cooperatives in Serbia and are making strides in small-scale commerce, enhancing household income and community development. Our progress depends on robust partnerships. Serbia welcomes the support of international donors, development agencies, and neighboring countries in our commitment to transparency and accountability, ensuring aid translates into tangible benefits for our citizens. In conclusion, Serbia envisions a future where sustainable development is reality for all. We stand ready to collaborate with the international community, harness our resilient spirit, and implement innovative solutions for lasting change. I remain the President of Serbia, Lake Nico. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, President of Serbia.
The next president we are calling upon is the President of Guinea. You are most welcome.
Thank you very much. Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, a good day to you all. As we commence to discuss global issues, I would like to address the security challenge in Central Africa, which poses a significant threat to regional stability and sustainable development. The situation in Central Africa is complex, with conflicts fueled by 1. Political, economic, and social factors. The humanitarian crisis in the region is there, with millions of people displaced and countless lives lost. As a member of African Union, Guinea is committed to promoting peace and stability in the region. We believe that sustainable development is a key to addressing the root causes of conflicts in the region, and that economic growth and social progress are essential in building a more peaceful and stable region. To achieve this, we need to address the underlying issues such as poverty, inequality, and lack of access to resources. We need to invest in sustainable development initiatives that promote economic growth, improve living standards, and protect the environment. Guinea is committed to working with our international partners to promote peace and stability in the region. We support the efforts of the African Union and the United Nations to address the security challenges in Central Africa. And we call on the international community to provide support for sustainable development initiatives. Particularly, we need to invest in initiatives that promote economic empowerment, improve access to education and healthcare, and protect human rights. By working together, we can build a more peaceful and prosperous region where all citizens can live in dignity and security. In conclusion, Guinea is committed to playing a constructive role in promoting peace and stability in Central Africa. We call on the international community to support our efforts and work together to address the security challenges in Central Africa. I end by saying, adversity introduces a man to himself. Hard situations introduce us to ourselves. So we are facing hard situations in Guinea. We are getting to know ourselves, and we shall solve this. This is a small thing. Thank you.
That has been the President of Guinea. Thank you so much. Let's welcome the President of South Africa.
Esteemed colleagues, distinguished delegates, and honored guests. It is a profound honor to stand before you today at this distinguished assembly, representing the resilience and diverse continent of Africa. We gather here amidst a time of great challenges, a time that beckons us, affirming our continent to the ideas of unity and independence and sustainable peace. Africa's journey towards independence has been marked by resilience, courage, and unwavering to forge a future based on self-determination, and yet we recognize that true independence exceeds beyond political signals. It encompasses our signature, economic empowerment, and social cohesion. To achieve this, we must strengthen our roots, our rich and diverse cultures that determine us and inspire our nations. Our cultural heritage is a powerful verse carrying the stories, values, and traditions of our people.
It is a foundation upon which our identity is built and the source of our pride for generations to come. We call upon all African nations to enforce and cherish their culture, ideas, to preserve languages, customs, and art forms that blind us and distinguish us on the world stage. Therefore, by cultivating a deep appreciation for our cultures, we foster mutual respect and understanding among people and with the global community. This cultural strength is an essential pillar in the building of peace, stability, and unity across our continent. Let us also recognize the stable of independence and culture as entwined with our collective aspirations for peace and development. As such, I urge member states and international partners to support Africa's endeavors in culture preservation and empowerment. Together, we can lay the groundwork of a future with Africa's voices all valued and celebrated. In conclusion, Africa's independence is not solely the removal of chains. It is the blossoming of resilience, a culturally rich continent, definite in its identity and future. As we work towards this vision, let us embrace our diversity, uphold our inheritance, and forge pathways to peace for our children and generations yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this juncture, let's welcome the World Health Organization of the United Nations Committee.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, before you is a representative from the World Health Organization. As we convene to discuss global issues, I would like to highlight the critical importance of health in achieving sustainable development and economic growth. The World Health Organization is committed to promoting health and well-being for all everywhere. We believe that health is a fundamental right and a key driver of economic development. However, the world is facing numerous health challenges that threaten to undermine the progress and stability. From infectious diseases such as COVID-19 and tuberculosis to communicable diseases such as diabetes and heart diseases, the burden of diseases is growing and affecting countries at all levels of development. The poor health or economic development cannot be overstated. Sick populations are less productive and economics suffer as a result. Conversely, investments in health can have significant economic returns, improving productivity, reducing healthcare costs, and driving economic growth. That is why the World Health Organization is calling for increased investment in health systems, particularly in low and middle income countries. We need to strengthen health systems, improve access to quality health care, and address the social determinants of health. We also need to address the the threat of antimicrobial resistance, which has the potential to undermine decades of process in healthcare. We must work together to promote the responsibility of antimicrobials, invest research and development, and ensure access to effective treatments. Furthermore, we must recognize the critical role that health plays in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals Good health is not only at the end in itself, but also means to achieve other development goals such as reducing poverty and promoting education. In conclusion, World Health Organization is committed to working with countries and partners to promote health and well-being for all. We call upon nations to prioritize health in their development agendas and to invest in strong, resilient health systems that can meet the needs of their populations. Together, we can build a healthier, more prosperous world for all. Thank you. I remain the representative from the World Health Organization.
Thank you so much. That has been the representative from the World Health Organization. Next, let's welcome a representative from the World Food Organization.
Development goals. We believe that everyone deserves access to nutritious food and the opportunity to lead a healthy and productive life. We recognize that achieving zero hunger requires a focus on the most vulnerable populations, including women, children, and marginalized communities. We will continue to prioritize initiatives that support these groups, ensuring that they have access to nutritious food and the opportunity to break the cycle of poverty. We recognize that supporting refugees and vulnerable people requires a coordinated and comprehensive approach. We call on governments, donors, and partners to work together to address the root causes of displacement and to support sustainable solutions of refugees and host communities. The World Food Programme recognizes the critical needs of refugees and vulnerable people who often face significant challenges in accessing nutritious food and essential services. We are committed to providing life-saving food assistance and supporting sustainable livelihoods for these populations. Our initiatives, school feeding programs. Our school feeding program aim to improve nutrition and education outcomes for children, particularly in vulnerable communities. Cash-based transfers. Our cash-based transfer programs enable vulnerable populations to purchase food and other essential items, promoting dignity and self-sufficiency. In conclusion, we will continue to work tirelessly to achieve zero hunger, ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food and the opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
Next, let's welcome the African Union Commissioner. You are most welcome.
I recognize the chairperson UN and the fellow presidents, esteemed heads of states and government, distinguished graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you today with a profound sense of duty and hope as we gather in our respective pursuits of peace, stability and development across the African continent. The challenges we face are formidable, however, they are not insurmountable. When we act together, united in our commitment to advance peace. Throughout our history, Africa has demonstrated resilience and strength, emerging from the shadows of conflict to embrace light and cooperation of partnerships. Yet, the path of peace remains fraught with obstacles that require our immediate and collective attention. It is time to reaffirm our dedication to acting together for advancement of peace, a cornerstone of our shared vision for Africa's future. Commitment of human rights. As we advance the causes of peace, we must uphold human rights and the rule of law. Respect of human rights is paramount. We must work together to ensure the voices of the marginalized are heard, that justice prevails for all. Commitment to human rights is not only a moral obligation, but a pathway for for a more stable and peaceful society. Let us remember that peace is a journey to embark on together. It requires our unwavering commitment, cooperation, and courage. As leaders, we must lead by example, embodying principles of unity and solidarity that we wish to see across the continent for God and my country.
Thank you so much, the African Union Commissioner. Next, let's welcome the President of Senegal.
Honorable Chairperson, distinguished leaders and fellow states of head. Good afternoon. Before you, I am representing the President of Namibia, and I'm here to talk about how to sustain stability and development. It is a profound honor to address this esteemed assembly on the improvement of sustainability development in Namibia and across the globe. As a nation committed to progress and environmental organization, Namibia organizes the sustainability development is not just a goal but a shared responsibility that demands our collective action. Namibia's landscapes, from deserts to savannas, are rich and unique features that are virtual to the reality of our environment. Despite our rich natural heritage, we face challenges such as water scarcity, land degradation, and impact of climate change. Yet we remain resolute in our continent to foster sustainability growth that depends both on our people and our planet. One of our leaders is trying to make a development of renewable energy resources, apart from the use of hydroelectric power. We are also trying to use the energy source called solar power through the Kudu gas to power project and solar inventions in Oro communities. Namibia aims to get its energy profit, reduce on fossil fuels, and promote access to electricity in Namibia. As the president, I'm encouraging everyone here to respect others, because you might find the one whom you are with is the one who will make your country develop. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, the President of Namibia, for those words. Next, let's welcome the President of Senegal, the Chairperson of the UN.
Heads of state and government, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It's with great honor and profound sense of responsibility that I address you today as the Chairperson of the African Union. Together, we gather to reform our unwavering commitment to the advancement of peace and the enhancement of human dignity across our beloved continent. As we reflect on the tumultuous journey our nations have traversed, we are reminded that the pursuit of peace is not merely an aspiration, it is an imperative. History has taught us that without peace, no society can thrive. Conflict in any form diminishes not just our security, but our shared human dignity. It disrupts lives, displaces families, and fractures communities. Therefore, it is our collective duty to foster a landscape where peace prevails, where every individual can live without fear, and where the rights of all respected and upheld. To advance peace and human dignity, we must embrace a holistic approach. In our quest for advancement, we must also reaffirm our commitment to human rights. Every person, regardless of their background, deserves to live life from oppression. We must strengthen our legal frameworks, ensure accountability, and promote justice. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights must guide our actions, reminding us that the dignity of the individual is sacred. We can create platforms that amplify the voices of the marginalized and advocate for peace and dignity across our continent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Senegal. Next, let's welcome the President of Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished and delegates, it is with great honor that I stand before you today at this esteemed gathering of nations committed to peace, development, and the sovereignty of all peoples. As the President of Nigeria, I am compelled to address a persistent and pressing issue that threatens the stability and progress of our continent, the exploitation of African resources by European powers, and the urgent need for concerted peace-building efforts. For centuries, Africa's vast endowment, a treasure trove of minerals, oil, timber, and fertile lands, have been exploited with little regard for our peoples and ecosystems. European colonial powers extracted wealth to fuel their industrial revolutions, leaving behind borders and conflicts that continue to challenge us. Today, the legacy of colonialism is a scar that still influences our economic and political realities. A stark example is the exploitation of Nigeria's oil resources. While our nation contributes significantly to the global energy supply, a disproportionate share of the wealth benefits foreign corporations and local cities, leaving millions in poverty. The situation in Niger Delta reflects the imbalance, environmental degradation, and economic marginalization persist because of the relentless pursuit of resources without adequate benefit sharing or local community engagement. Similarly, in the mineral-rich regions of Democratic Republic of Congo, vast quantities of coltan and columbite are mined under conditions that are often involve child labor and environmental destruction, with profits flowing out of Africa to foreign entities. These cases highlight the urgent need to fair and transparent resource management, sovereign control, and local benefit. The exploitation of resources is not only a matter of economic imbalance, but also a catalyst for conflict. When nations or communities feel deprived of their fair share, violence and instability often follow. The Boko Haram insurgency, Nigeria, and the ongoing conflict in the Sahel are partially fueled by resource competition and economic disparities stemming from historical exploitation. However, amidst these challenges, I stand here today to reaffirm our collective commitment to peace and sustainable development. The African continent has made significant strides, peace agreements, regional cooperation, and community-led initiatives aimed at building resilient societies. In Nigeria, we are working tirelessly to promote peaceful coexistence through programs like the National Peace and Reconciliation Initiative, and we emphasize the importance of regional bodies such as ECOWAS in conflict resolution. We believe that peace is not merely the absence of war, but the presence of justice, equitable resource distribution, and opportunities for all. To illustrate the power of peace building, I refer to the example of the Liberian peace process, which transitioned from conflict to stability through regional and international collaboration. The synergetic effort underscores that peace is achievable when nations work together, respecting sovereignty and fostering local initiative. In conclusion, I call upon international community, especially former colonial powers, to recognize their roles in historical exploitation and to support Africa's pursuit to economic sovereignty and sustainable peace. We must forge partnership based on mutual benefit, transparency, and respect for our sovereignty. Only then can we safeguard our resources for future generations and pave the way for enduring peace and prosperity across Africa. Let us affirm our collective dedication to justice, peace, and sustainable development, ensuring that the scars of the past do not dedicate the future, but that together we can build a continent for opportunity and hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much for telling us such information about the Niger Delta. Next, let's welcome the President of Australia.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, I, Alamed Mahumza Skaf Devontes, President of Austria, I'm honored to address this distinguished assembly today. As I was saying, I'm honored to address this distinguished assembly today on the vital topics of global peace and sustainable development principles that are the cornerstone of a just and resilient international community. Austria has long committed itself to fostering peace, embracing dialogue, and promoting sustainable growth for all its citizens and beyond. We believe that the path to lasting peace is paved with cooperation, mutual understanding, and unwavering dedication to human rights and fundamental freedoms. In a world increasingly challenged by conflicts, climate change, inequality, and health crises, our collective effort becomes not just necessary, but urgent. Sustainable development can't be achieved in isolation. It demands global solidarity and innovative partnership across nations, sectors, and countries. Austria is proud to contribute to this shared mission by advancing renewable energy initiatives, promoting social inclusion, supporting peace-building efforts around the world. We call upon all nations to uphold the principles enshrined in the UN Charter to promote dialogue and to work cooperatively to solve disputes peacefully. Furthermore, we recognize that peace and sustainable development are deeply interconnected. Without environmental stability, social equity suffers. Without social stability, environmental initiatives falter. We must act holistically to integrate efforts to combat climate change, reduce poverty, and ensure equitable access to education and healthcare. Let's seize this moment to reaffirm our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals, to reignite the spirit of multilateralism, and to foster a future where peace and prosperity are accessible to all. Austria stands ready to lead and to cooperate with every nation committed to building a brighter and more sustainable world. In closing, I express my sincere hope that our collective actions will pave the way toward embracing peace and sustainable development for our generations to come, even though it means stopping trade with Rwanda for improving its arms department. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's welcome the President of Romania.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, greetings are down. Before you is the Queen of Romania. Romania stands at the forefront of global health security. Recognizing the devastating impacts of pandemic diseases on humanity, we acknowledge the progress made in combating outbreaks, but we also note the concerning lack of preparedness and response in some countries. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed weaknesses in global health systems, and the recent outbreaks of disease such as Mpox and Cholera highlights the need for sustained vigilance and cooperation. We must learn from these experiences to strengthen our collective response. Examples of effective cooperations include international efforts to develop and distribute vaccines, such as well as initiatives to enhance global health infrastructures. However, we also see instances where a lack of preparedness and inadequate transport has exacerbated outbreaks, resulting in unnecessary suffering and loss of lives. Romania urges all nations to prioritize global health security through investing in robust health systems to detect and respond to outbreaks promptly, sharing data and best practices to inform evidence-based policies, supporting international cooperations to combat pandemics and protect vulnerable populations. We also emphasize the importance of respecting human life and dignity in our response of pandemics. This includes ensuring equitable access to health care, protecting human rights, and promoting global solidarity. Regarding peace and security, Romania believes that dialogue and cooperation are essential for resolving conflicts and promoting stability. Unfortunately, some Western countries have been known to exploit peaceful situations to further their own interests, often at the expense of other nations' sovereignty and well-being. We call on all nations to respect the principles of sovereignty, non-interference, and self-determination. Let's work together to promote peace, stability, and prosperity for all, while respecting the diversity of nations and cultures. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the President of Romania. Next, let's welcome the President of Lesotho.
Honorable guests and distinguished delegates, good afternoon. I am honored to address the United Nations Summit on the theme Leaving No One Behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations. As the development and human dignity for present and future generations, as the President of Lesotho, I reaffirm our commitment to this noble cause. Lesotho has made significant strides in promoting peace and stability. Our commitment to democratic principles and good governance has created a conducive environment for development. We will continue to prioritize peace building and conflict resolution initiatives. Our National Strategic Development Plan prioritizes sustainable development, focusing on economic growth, social development, and environmental sustainability. Initiatives such as our renewable energy projects and sustainable agriculture programs aim to promote economic growth while protecting the environment. We are committed to promoting human dignity by protecting the environment. We are by ensuring access to basic services such as health care, education, and clean water. Our efforts to improve health care, infrastructure, and increase access to education has shown promising results. We recognize that achieving the theme's objectives requires a focus on the most vulnerable members of our society. Initiatives. Renewable energy. Our renewable energy projects aim to increase access to clean energy, reducing our reliance on fossil fuels and promoting sustainable development. Agriculture development. Our agriculture development programs focus on improving food security and promoting sustainable agriculture practices, benefiting rural communities and smallholder farmers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's welcome the President of Switzerland.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a good afternoon. It's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to discuss about Switzerland's journey in economic development, contributions, and our vision for a sustainable and inclusive future. Switzerland has long been recognized as a global leader in innovation, stability, and economic resilience. Our nation's success is built on a foundation of robust financial systems, cutting-edge technologies, and highly skilled workforce. Over the years, these pillars have allowed us to maintain steady growth while adapting the rapidly changing global economy. In recent years, Switzerland has prioritized diversifying its economy, investing highly in green technologies, digital transformation, and industries that promote environmental stability. We recognize the urgent need to address climate change and are committed to transformations towards a low-carbon economy. Our financial sector, both domestically and internationally. As a nation dedicated to socialism, Switzerland actively supports innovatives that promote economic stability, fair trade, equitably development worldwide. We believe that economic growth must go hand in hand with social inclusive, environmental stewardship, and innovation to ensure the prosperous future for all. Looking ahead, Switzerland aims to the strength of international cooperation, share best practices, and contribute to global efforts addressing inequalities, fostering sustainable development, and creating opportunities. In conclusion, Switzerland reaffirms its commitment to support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and working collaboratively with nations around the world to forge a resilient, innovative and sustainable global economy. I remain the President of Switzerland.
Thank you so much, the President of Switzerland. Next, let's welcome the President of Malaysia. You're most welcome.
Honorable leaders, dignitaries gathered here today. As we discuss global issues, I would like to highlight the importance of oil transportation in promoting economic development. Oil is a vital component of modern economies, and its transportation plays a critical role in managing global energy demands. For Malaysia, oil and gas are essential components of our economy, and we have invested highly in infrastructure to facilitate the transportation of oil. And our strategic location in Southeast Asia makes us an important hub for regional energy trade. The transportation of oil not only generates revenue,
but also creates jobs, stimulates economic growth, and supports industrial development. It also enables countries to meet their energy demands, power their economies, and improve the standard of living of their citizens. However, we must acknowledge the environmental and social impacts of oil transportation. We need to ensure that oil is transported safely and responsibly with minimum harm to the environment and local communities. To achieve this, we support the international cooperation and the development of robust safety standards and regulations. We also believe in investing in technology and infrastructure to improve the efficiency and safety of oil transportation. In conclusion, the transportation of oil plays a vital role in promoting economic development and meeting global energy demands. We must work together to ensure that oil is transported safely and responsibly, while also promoting sustainable economic growth and development. Thank you.
Honorable leaders and dignitaries gathered here today, as we convene to discuss sustainable development, I would like to share South Korea's experiences and vision for a more sustainable future. South Korea has undergone remarkable economic development, transforming from one of the poorest countries to one of the most advanced economies in a few decades. However, we recognize that economic growth must be balanced with environmental protection and social responsibility. Our government has implemented various initiatives to promote sustainable development, such as the Green Growth Strategy, which aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote green technologies. We have also invested in renewable energy. One notable example is our Smart City initiative, which integrates innovative technologies and sustainable design to create eco-friendly and livable cities. This initiative showcases our commitment to sustainable urban development and provides a model for other cities around the world. We believe that sustainable development is not just an environmental issue, but also an economic and social imperative. By transitioning to a low-carbon economy, we create new opportunities for growth, jobs, and innovation. South Korea is committed to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and will continue to work with the international community to promote sustainable development globally. I urge all leaders to prioritize sustainable development and work towards a more equitable, prosperous, and sustainable future for all. Together, we can build a better world for future generations. Thank you.
That has been the President of South Korea. Thank you so much. Next, let's welcome the President of Russia. I stand before you as the President of Russia. We believe that peace and cooperation are essential for achieving sustainable development and promoting human dignity. Russia has constantly advocated for dialogue and diplomacy in resolving conflicts, including in the context of Ukraine. Regarding Ukraine, we remain committed to finding a peaceful solution to respect and the rights and interests of all parties involved. We support the Minsk agreements and believe that a negotiated settlement is the best way to resolve the conflict. Russia is committed to sustainable development, prioritizing economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. We will continue to invest in areas such as renewable energy, environmental protection, and infrastructure development. We believe that human dignity is a founding principle that should guide our actions. Russia will continue to prioritize people that promote human well-being, including access to health care, education, and social services. We recognize the achieving objective and action. Russia will continue to work with partners around the world to promote peace, sustainable development, and human dignity. In conclusion, we will continue to work towards a more peaceful and
prosperous world, respecting the rights and interests of all nations and peoples. Thank you.
As we wind up, let's welcome the President of Belgium.
Deeply concerned about the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, a tragedy that has caused suffering, displacement and instability across the region. As a nation committed to peace, sovereignty and international law, Belgium joins the global community in calling for an immediate de-escalation and a peaceful resolution to this conflict. The war in Ukraine is not merely a regional issue. It is a matter of international stability and the fundamental principles that underpin the United Nations. With territorial integrity of nations and to uphold the rules based on international order that safeguards peace and security for all. We urge Russia to take concrete steps to cease hostilities and withdraw its forces from Ukrainian territory. The path to peace requires sincerity, dialogue and a genuine. It is the responsibility of all parties to prevent this suffering from escalating. Belgium stands ready to support efforts that promote dialogue, reconciliation and sustainable peace in Ukraine. We call upon the international community to reinforce humanitarian aid and support for those affected by the conflict, and to work together in rebuilding hope and stability in the region. Let us remember that peace is fragile but not achievable. It requires a collective will and unwavering commitment to all nations. We have a duty to ensure that future generations live in a world where conflicts are resolved through dialogue and respect, not through violence and war. In conclusion, I call on Russia and all involved parties to uphold their responsibilities, to choose peace over war, and to work earnestly towards a peaceful resolution that respects Ukrainian sovereignty and restores stability. Thank you.
That has been the President of Belgium. Thank you so much. I thank you for engaging actively in this session ahead of us. And I thank you for the countries that have used this platform to illustrate the power of unity in diversity. Also, in conclusion, together we can turn a dialogue into action. Our discussion can lay the groundwork. Distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, my name is Kwaga Faith Ruth, and I am the Prime Minister of Poland. Today, I stand before you to address a matter of urgent global importance, the spread of terrorism and the troubling perceptions of European involvement in supporting such activities in other countries. This issue threatens not only the sovereignty and security of affected nations, but also the stability and peace of entire international community. First and foremost, Poland unequivocally condemns all forms of terrorism in any guise and regardless of origin. Terrorism is a scourge that knows no borders and must be defeated collectively through strong cooperation, vigilance and commitment to rule of law. It has come to our attention that certain narratives seek to falsely implicate European nations in supporting terrorist activities abroad. Such accusations are dangerous, counterproductive, undermining the trust and unity necessary to combat extremism. We must therefore approach these claims with the utmost seriousness, relying on verified intelligence and facts rather than misinformation of political rhetoric. To effectively contain terrorism, we must adopt a comprehensive multi-layered approach. First, strengthening intelligence and security cooperation. Countries must enhance cross-border intelligence sharing and joining operations to dismantle terrorist networks before they can act. Addressing root causes. We must invest in education,
economic development, and inclusion in vulnerable regions to reduce the ideological appeal of extremism. Countering extremism, propaganda, the internet and social media are powerful tools for radicalization. Thus, we need robust efforts to monitor, counter, and remove terrorist content online. Fourth, legal and judicial frameworks. Ensuring the terrorists are brought to justice through fair and effective legal systems is essential to deter future acts of violence. Fifth, international solidarity and responsibility. No action should face the threat of terrorism alone. Collective action through organizations like the United Nations is our best assurance of success. Lastly, Poland reaffirms its commitment to work hand in hand with its international partners to build a safer, more just world where the scourge of terrorism is eradicated. Only standing united, sharing our intelligence, and upholding our shared values, we can hope to achieve lasting peace. Thank you.
Secretary General, National Resistance Movement Party, Government Chief Whip, Government of Uganda, Minister for Urban Development and Physical Planning, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Government of Uganda, Parliamentary Commissioner, Member of the Parliamentary, Member of Parliament, Parliament of Uganda, Education Officer. Let's welcome our Honorable, the only and only, the chief guest of this unification.
Good afternoon, everybody. I came today not knowing what I was coming for. But because my classmates said you had to come, I said let me go. Because I don't think there will be anything bad, everything will be good. So my classmate is your director, Mrs. Matovu Lilian. We're together at university. Can you clap for her? Now if you are mean with clapping the person you stay with, how about me you have never seen? What will happen? One, I want to thank you for this initiative. It helps our children think beyond the boundaries of Uganda, but also be able to think that we are in a world where we all must compete. So we must work to make sure that our children can compete, that we can compete, the generations to come will be able to compete. Time is gone when you Africans can go to the UN dressed as Europeans. God rest in your cultural attire. I want to thank the one who represented Uganda. She came in our cultural attire. Can we clap for her? And also the lady who came from India also came in the Indian attire. And I also want to thank the one from Saudi Arabia and somebody, I think it was from either Spain, who tried to greet us in the local language. For me, whenever I go to the UN, what happens as a minister in charge of the SDGs in this country, whenever I'm seated, I remember the village where I come from. And I say, oh, I come from this village called Buwalia. My mother never got the opportunity to touch the door to a classroom. My father had studied so much that he had stopped in P4 in Namugongo. Now that's where I am. I'm a graduate. But now I've come to represent Uganda in the SDG conference. What I do is to tell, my God, you have brought me this far. I have to stand straight. That gives you confidence as a person. So in your life, find something. What makes you feel big? What makes you feel good? Then as I get to the podium, I wish my father was somewhere to watch TV and see me. But since he's long gone, for me, let me do it. My children will watch when they've grown up. And whatever I do, I am doing it for Uganda. I'm talking on behalf of Uganda, but I know my grandchildren will see it. So it makes me stand straight. For you be seeing me short, but me will be seeing myself tall. So it's up to you to put me whatever height you want. Issues of climate change. I want to end with this. Issues of climate change affect us. But majority people think, especially we Africans, don't know that the more we destroy the environment, the more we are receiving less rainfall, the more we are getting drought, and which is affecting the backbone of our economy, which is agriculture. And then we go complaining. And when we are told, let's do this, we don't want to do that. But it's the responsibility of you who have gone to school. Because you are now the change agent in your community. To work with every stakeholder, we should all work together to make sure we restore the environment. The environment can be so harsh. Let's live a better world. As we live, we should live a better world. All our actions should be that we live a better world. That's why in the Sustainable Development Goals, it is leaving no one behind, but serving the farthest first. You serve the farthest first. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for whoever initiated this idea to make these girls and boys begin looking at the global map, the global level, the global platform, knowing that whatever they are doing, they must prepare themselves to compete at that level, to compete to make the world better, to be able to get space and improve the lives of many people, those you know and those you don't know. I want to thank you for inviting me. Came not knowing what I'm coming for, got here and found what I'm used to as the minister in charge of SDGs in this government, but also as the newly elected 11th chairperson of the Africa Regional SDG Bureau. So I have an office in Addis, but though because of resources, the government cannot facilitate me all the time to go there and work, I'm always on Zoom meetings to make sure we quicken the process as Africa to make life better for everybody before 2030. Thank you so much. She can tell you that for me I was never even a prefect in school. And I was the most shy person in school. So whoever is here and is shy, please, tomorrow you can change. But when I went to school and I was taught to be a teacher, taught to teach, that was the end of shyness. And that's how I managed to get to politics. And I'm in politics, I'm not going anywhere. And I've been in the parliament since 2001. By then I was 27 years. And I'm still growing strong within the politics. So even if you are shy today, those who are here and those on the sides, please don't give up. You just wait for an opportunity. And once the light is lit, you can become something you even never expected, but keeping God in your life. Thank you.
Indeed, the history of today teaches us to be good politicians for the next future generation. Indeed, she's the SDH of the representative of Uganda. More about her excellency: academic qualifications, Masters of Arts, International Relations and Diplomatic Studies, Makerere University. Bachelor of Arts with Education, Makerere University. Uganda Advanced Certificate in Education at St. Joseph's Senior Secondary School, Nagalama. Uganda Certificate of Education, Stella Maris College, Nsube. Primary Living Examination, St. Francis Boarding Primary School. Career and skill set: a political leader with a wealth, professional education, administrator, strategic planner and legislator. practicing and living Roman Catholic virtues. Thank you so much for the words of advice that you have given us. And we assure you that we shall practice more and more to become better speakers of our nation. And I advise you, all of you, that the words that they have given us, truly, if reflected on, you can be a better speaker and you can be a transformative person of your school, of your nation, and everywhere you go, for God and my country.
They are classified into two. We have continental summits and we also have the global summits. Now, this year we decided to have the UN summit globally, calling for countries from all different continents. We have delegates from Russia, from Asia, they are there. We have from Europe, South America, Africa. Yeah. So the aim is, according to our theme of the year, as it was saying, leaving no one behind, meaning everyone, be it the youth, the old, the young ones, don't leave anyone behind. Leaving no one behind, acting together for advancement of peace. Peace. We all need peace. We all need peace. Peace doesn't mean fighting, but even that eternal peace you have in you, we need that peace. Sustainable development. Fine, some countries might be not economically well, but can they be able to sustain themselves? So we are looking for the ways of how we can bring all those things to each and every nation. And human dignity for present and future generations. Whichever thing we have discussed here, it is not for our generation. We have to cater for those generations coming. Your grands, we are catering for all of them. That's why this meeting was held. So the aim of this, to you students of Olan, some of you are going to become leaders of tomorrow. At times you see leaders we are having in parliament and other places, whenever they are given the chance to speak in public, they are shying away. They are shying away. Why? Because they were not prepared. So for us in Olan, our aim is we have to prepare you for that public speaking, so that when you reach in congregations, you can address it without shivering. So some of you who took it as just a show, please, it's not a show. Whichever thing we have done here, those who have presented, please make sure that you engage in each and every activity containing public speaking, because that is the additional skill you can add on your CV somewhere, somehow. My question is, can you even address your family at home? So the aim is, we are building confidence in new students, so that whichever thing you do, you don't shiver around. Then next is, we are building your public speaking skills. You know, sometimes I see members of parliament, they kind of play in the parliament instead of speaking. Can you air out your views? Can you express your views? You're representing maybe a country. Can you air out the challenges in that country to the public to know it? If yes, it's good. So that is our aim here. We are building you for the future generation. I would like to thank everyone who has taken part in this event. You have passed through a lot of struggles right from the day you reported. Some of you up to today morning. Some of you even right now some things are still coming. But the event has ended. So thanks to everyone who has taken part in this thing. Please, we are going to be having it every year. Every year. Don't shy away. You're building that skill in you. In you. And the time to come, we shall say, before someone goes in for any post, have we ever seen you in the summit speaking to the public? So please, participate in this thing and bring out your confidence and the skills. I want to also thank the school management for facilitating us in this event. In the absentia, I would like to thank the administration, Madam Head Teacher and Dr. Lilian Matovu for everything they have done to see that this summit takes place this year. We are improving. The way it was last year, it is not the same way you have seen it today. Meaning next year, we are planning for something good. So please, whenever you're called upon, please come and take part. You're building your skills. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for coming. Thank you for the time you've given, the rehearsals and everything. I rest my case.
It is all about fostering understanding, building trust, and nurturing partnership. It requires us to listen much as we speak. This has been the AU Summit 2025, and our theme has been "No Leaving No One Behind." Thank you so much for the active members that have participated in this summit, and we call upon you that we shall work on these unification global problems that are facing the world, and we believe that each challenge has a solution, and everything we shall call upon effective communication and collaboration as we stand at the crossroads of opportunity and responsibility. Thank you so much. May God bless you.